Welcome to Smart English Stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English stories. In a small village, there was a man named Arjun. He was strong and kind. He lived a simple life with his wife, Meera. Meera was a gentle woman, full of love. They had been married for many years, and everyone in the village admired their bond. But Arjun held a secret deep within his heart, a secret that would change everything. Arjun was once in love with another woman, Priya. Priya was beautiful and full of life. Arjun loved her deeply, but fate was cruel. Priya fell ill, and despite all efforts, she passed away. Arjun was shattered, and it took him years to find peace again. When he met Meera, he thought he had moved on, but the memory of Priya always lingered. Meera knew nothing of Priya. She believed she was Arjun's first and only love. She adored Arjun with all her heart, never doubting his love for her. She would often prepare his favorite meals and sing the songs he loved. Arjun appreciated Meera, but in the quiet moments, his thoughts would drift back to Priya. One day, a stranger came to the village. She was a young woman named Radha. She had big, curious eyes and a mysterious aura. She seemed familiar, but Arjun could not place where he had seen her before. Radha began asking questions about Arjun's past, and he felt uneasy. Radha's presence started to disturb the peace in Arjun's life. She would appear at the market, near the temple, and even outside Arjun's home. Meera noticed the change in Arjun. He became distant, often lost in thought. She asked him if something was troubling him, but he only smiled and assured her that everything was fine. Days passed, and Radha grew closer to Arjun. She would speak to him about things only Priya would have known. Arjun was puzzled and frightened. How did this stranger know so much about his past? He began to avoid her, but she was persistent. Meera, sensing something was wrong, decided to find out more about Radha. She followed her one evening as she walked towards the old part of the village. Meera watched from a distance as Radha entered an abandoned house. Curiosity got the better of her, and Meera quietly followed her inside. The house was dark and cold. Meera could hear Radha whispering to someone, but she couldn't see who it was. As she moved closer, she realized Radha was talking to a portrait of a woman. Meera's heart skipped a beat when she recognized the face in the painting. It was Priya. Radha turned suddenly, sensing Meera's presence. "Who are you?" Meera asked, her voice trembling. Radha smiled sadly. "I am Priya's sister," she replied. "I came to see the man who once loved her." Meera felt a wave of relief wash over her, but then Radha's expression changed. "Arjun is mine," she whispered, her voice full of pain. He promised to be with Priya forever, but he broke that promise. Meera was stunned. She didn't know what to say. Radha's eyes filled with tears as she continued. I came to remind him of his vow. He cannot escape it. Fear gripped Meera's heart. She returned home, shaken and confused. She didn't tell Arjun about her encounter with Radha, but she could feel the tension growing between them. Arjun became more distant, lost in memories of the past. One night, Arjun had a dream. He saw Priya standing in a field of flowers, her face sad and longing. Why did you leave me? She asked him. Arjun woke up in a cold sweat, his heart pounding. He couldn't shake the feeling that Priya was trying to reach out to him from beyond the grave. The next day, Arjun decided to confront Radha. He found her by the river, staring into the water. Why are you here? He demanded. Radha looked up at him, her eyes filled with sorrow. I came to take back what was stolen, she replied. Priya's love was pure, but you forgot her. Arjun felt a sharp pain in his chest. I never forgot her, he said, his voice breaking. But life moved on, and I had to move with it. Radha shook her head. You moved on, but she did not. She waits for you, Arjun. Arjun was torn between the life he had with Meera and the memories of Priya. He didn't know what to do. He returned home, his mind in turmoil. Meera sensed his distress, but she didn't press him for answers. She feared what she might hear. As the days passed, Arjun became more withdrawn. He would spend hours staring at Priya's picture, lost in thought. Meera's heart ached as she watched the man she loved slipping away from her. She knew she had to do something before it was too late. One evening, Meera approached Arjun. We need to talk, she said gently. Arjun looked at her, his eyes full of sadness. What is it? He asked. Meera took a deep breath. I know about Priya, she said. Arjun's eyes widened in shock. How do you know? He asked. Radha told me, Meera replied. She is Priya's sister. She says Priya is waiting for you. Arjun was silent for a long time. Finally, he spoke. I loved Priya with all my heart. When she died, I was lost. But then I met you, and you brought light back into my life. I thought I had moved on, but Radha's presence has brought back all those old feelings. Meera's eyes filled with tears. Do you still love her? She asked, her voice trembling. Arjun shook his head. I love you, Meera. But the guilt of forgetting Priya haunts me. I don't know how to let go. Meera took Arjun's hand in hers. You don't have to forget her, she said softly, but you need to let her rest. You need to find peace, for both our sakes. Arjun looked into Meera's eyes, and for the first time in weeks, he felt a glimmer of hope. "How do I do that?" he asked. Meera smiled sadly. "You need to say goodbye, Arjun. Let her go." Arjun knew she was right. The next day, he went to the place where Priya was buried. Radha was there, waiting for him. She handed him a letter written by Priya before she died. With trembling hands, Arjun opened the letter. Priya's words were full of love and sadness. She wrote about how much she loved him and how she wished they could have had more time together. But in the end, she asked him to move on, to find happiness with someone else. Tears streamed down Arjun's face as he read the letter. He felt a weight lifting from his heart. Priya wanted him to be happy, and he knew he could only do that by letting go of the past. Arjun looked at Radha. "Thank you for bringing this to me," he said. "I will always cherish the memories I have of Priya, but it's time for me to move forward." Radha nodded, her own eyes filled with tears. "She loved you very much," she said. "I hope you find peace." Arjun returned home to Meera, feeling lighter than he had in years. He took her in his arms and whispered, "I love you, Meera. Thank you for helping me find my way back to you." Meera held him close, her heart full of love. She knew that the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but as long as they were together, they could face anything. As Arjun lay down that night, he felt a sense of calm wash over him. For the first time in a long time, he slept peacefully, knowing that Priya was finally at rest. But the story doesn't end here. Love is a complex and beautiful thing, full of twists and turns. Arjun and Meera's journey was just beginning, and there were still many challenges ahead. Would their love be strong enough to withstand the trials that lay ahead? Only time would tell. In the quiet of the night, as Arjun and Meera slept, a soft breeze blew through the village. It carried with it the whispers of the past, reminding them that love, in all its forms, is eternal. What do you think? Is it possible to truly move on from a love that once consumed your soul, or does it always leave a mark that never fades? Share your thoughts in the comments below.